You can still get your life back. Get your life back. It's real. Get your life back. Get your life back. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Cheryl's Get Your Life Back podcast. I'm so glad you decided to share this time with me. I hope your day is going well. I was thinking about my day and it's been kind of calm today, which is so great. So it's good to appreciate those days when everything is kind of calm. It's just not a lot of noise and volume going on during the day. So when you have those days that are more hectic, these type of days help you to appreciate the day, how it's spent. So my name is Cheryl Howard. I'm an inspiration and transformation speaker, certified life purpose coach, a pastoral counselor, a mental health professional, an author, and a minister. For those of you who don't know me. And if you want to know more about me, go to CherylWhiteHoward.com. You'll learn more about what I do, the services that I provide to people in my life coaching business, certified life purpose coach, and some of my specialties, which is in a relationship area, parenting area, emotional wellness, and helping you really identify, find your purpose, and actually actualize your purpose. So the things you dream and you envision that you want to do. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Welcome back. But anyway, what was I talking about? I was talking about appreciating the days when things are less hectic, and I was introducing myself and about my services that I provide. And you'll get all that stuff if you go visit, like I said, CherylWhiteHoward.com, and find me on all social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I am Cheryl Howard. Get your life back. And and in YouTube, of course, and I need you to ring the bell. You can ring my bell. Ring the bell so you can receive notifications of every time I upload a new video or go live. So anyway, I'm so glad to have you here. And one of the things I really want to focus on today is what I actually just shared with my client not too long ago. I did a assessment on her, but I did a workplace self-care assessment. And this is something that I do with all of my clients at some point in time during our time together and working along with my clients is some kind of self-care activity, and encourage my clients to practice self-care in their life because we need it. But a lot of times we don't talk about how to find self-care in the workplace. Yes, we talk about ways to practice self-care at home, women on vacation, but what about within the workplace, a place that sometimes is stressful and hectic in that type of environment? And so that's what we really need to practice self-care. And so I just want to point out a certain strategies you can use. And I know it doesn't apply to everybody's workplace. So some of you work in a field, probably like I do. A lot of times I'm in the field because I go to where my clients are, whether they're at home or in a hospital or in a shelter or at work, and they have some free time in their business. So I have clients that come from different aspects in life. They are doing different things, from entrepreneurs, ministers, community leaders, those who have emotional trauma that they're trying to overcome and they need support with. I mean, just so many different areas that I help, I work with my clients in and really help them to enhance their quality of life. And so self-care is definitely something that we all need to practice as well. So I thought it'd be a good idea to come and do a video on self-care, but self-care in the workplace and our professional environment, our businesses, that's where we spend a lot of our time at, actually. And so you need to always find a place of peace, safety, comfortability, no matter where you are. So one of the places I like to start, and you will be surprised, but it can bring you some peace in knowing this one thing. How much is the pay rate? What is the income? And then going with a mindset to negotiate income, what your pay will be, because it'll give you a peace of mind knowing, even if you don't take a position, say during an interview, and you really like the job, however, you're at a place where you're not willing to compromise too much because you know the cost of your living, and you have a certain amount in your mind that you need, not even in your mind, but something that you have calculated yourself. You already had added up and calculated all of your living expenses and anything else extra outside of that. So you already know the type of income you need to do the things that you want to do and make sure everything is taken care of. So even if you turn down a position or an opportunity, there's still a peace of mind knowing that you are not settling for what you feel you are worth. And then when you flip it, there's a peace of mind knowing that when you go in and you negotiate, because some people don't negotiate, they don't even know they can do that. Even to this day, some people think they have to take whatever the company or what they think the company is offering, but you never know till you negotiate. And I'm telling you, it has happened many times where I negotiate the rate that I want to pay, especially when I do contracting work, and I'm doing some of that now for counseling and mental health coaching. And I negotiate a pay rate, and it gives me a sense of peace and more satisfaction when the employer, gives me a rate either close to what I want or at the same rate. We both agree on what the income shall be. So, you have to go in with that mindset and knowing that because you have to be okay with yourself. And I guess that's the bottom line. You have to be okay with yourself. Even if you did settle a little bit, sometimes you will, especially if you see a bigger picture, you see signs of growth and opportunity. So you're not just looking at what level you're going into, but maybe there's room for growth and promotion and elevation. So that may come into play. Or maybe this is something you can kind of work with because maybe you got some other sources of income going on. So it's okay because it's something that you really want to do and it brings you a sense of joy. The job itself, the position itself is something that you're passionate about. And so you're willing to settle a little bit if it's going to help you. And like I said, maybe there's a bigger picture where it's not about the position, it's about what you're going to learn, what you're going to gain out of it, and how you're going to help, whether you're serving people in the position or help the company, whatever it is you're doing, how can you contribute to that as well? So you're looking at more than just the pay rate. But yes, that's self-care. You're caring about your livelihood. You're caring about taking care of the things you have to take care of, not just making other people wealthy and rich or building somebody else's vision or dream, but what about your own dream? And included in that dream is feeling good about yourself, because you are looking out for number one, and that is you. Another strategy or intervention that you need to implement in the workplace is something that we all supposed to have. Breaks. Taking a break. Not just, let me get my 15-minute break in, and then you go and still do something real busy or something job related. What about taking out time to relax? Or if you stand on your feet, if you stand on your feet all day, it is a good thing to sit down and relax, maybe put your feet up if you can. Try to find that spot. If there's a place that's just a few minutes away from where you work, find that place and rest. Put your legs up. Now, if you're sitting down a lot on your job, then you need to get up and walk around. And you can find studies online that tells you that you should be standing up and walking around at least every hour on the hour. If you sit down for a long period of time at work or doing something, you need to be intentional about circulating your blood, getting your blood to flow, circulate, moving around, getting some oxygen, getting some air, stretching those muscles so you won't get stiff. Also, circulating your blood helps to bring oxygen to your brain and oxygen to your nervous system and keep everything flowing and functioning at an optimum level. So, and because when you don't do that, it can become very draining. Sometimes you just become stuck mentally. There's fog. It's a lot when you just sit still and you're not moving. We're supposed to be active. We're supposed to rest. We're supposed to find periods of taking Sabbath periods in our life. However, we also have to be active to keep things moving and flowing. That's the way God designed us. So we need to be more intentional about those things, about being physical. Our physical health is very important because it also affects your mental health as well and your emotional health. So please take those breaks. They give you breaks where you work, and you have to take your own break. If you're an entrepreneur, you run your own business. Don't be so busy and that you're not taking moments out to rest your mind. I mean, that's where a lot of creativity come in, when you able to kind of put some time aside and think about things and meditate on things. You know, ideas come to you, revelation come to you, wisdom come to you. Just had quiet, still moments. So yeah, I like the scripture because it talks about being still, and some of us really have to learn how to do that. Some of us forgot how to do that. So be still. Find moments to be still. Another intervention can be maybe there's a certain task or project that you want to work on that really is exciting. It's rewarding, and that's something that you should probably focus on. If you have the opportunity to engage in an activity in the workplace environment that brings you some sense of satisfaction and joy and passion, do that. Do that, because it'll feel meaningful. It'll feel like you're contributing, you're doing something that's positive. It's going to make some changes, maybe in the workplace or within yourself, within your company, with your coworkers, with the clients that you serve. Think of something that's fun and energetic, because it'll come back to you. The energy that you put out, the energy will come back to you as well. And so try to find things that are fun, even in the workplace, because sometimes it could become very boring, maybe where you are, or monotonous. You know, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. So sometimes you got to shake things up, put some new fire under your feet and get things going. Another thing that you can do in the workplace is creating an atmosphere or an environment that is comfortable for you, that brings some kind of sense of not only comfort, but passion and joy and excitement or creativity. Now, I know sometimes, a lot of us don't have our own office, and some of us do have our own office. But if you're at a cubicle, say you're working at a desk, and you see a lot of people do this, and you may do this yourself, but maybe you need to change the decorum on your station, on your desk. So bring in some things of nature, like plants, rocks, all kinds of different stones maybe, or pictures of your family, pictures of friends, things that make you smile. Have those things at the desk. Poetry, sayings, affirmations. And I've seen people have this in their office. I even had it myself, where I have, this is my little office now, because now I have an office at home. But, and I have things on a wall that inspire me. So things that are inspirational, but I see people with little sticky notes with quotes and inspiration, anything to help you get through the day. Because sometimes, even though you may be doing something you love to do, anything can become tiresome, where you just want to take the break, or you feel like I can't go no more. I want to give up. I'm tired, whatever the case is. But finding some source of inspiration in the room that you're in the setting, can really invigorate you, where you feel more energetic and you want to complete that task or that project. So that's something you can do too in your area. It can be a comfortable chair. Think about ergonomics. I think I said that right. But that's like having furniture or things that help you feel comfortable. Maybe the chair that you're sitting in, it is built, with the understanding by engineers that this is the type of chair that somebody can sit in for a long time, or maybe sitting in for a long time. So it needs to be comfortable for their back, for their legs, and then even having a desk is very convenient for you. The things that you have to do. You want to have things accessible to you, where you don't have to overextend yourself or something that's strenuous for you. So again, you have to be intentional. This is to help you be intentional about your self-care. So I want you to practice this in your workplace, because I know some of you do it at home, and maybe you need to do this at home as well, for those of you who don't. But I want you to be more intentional about creating an atmosphere that's conducive to your care. We think about other people all the time, but what about you? What brings me to another thing, and I was going to cover this under spiritual care, but that is self-love, self-preservation, thinking about, okay, you need to be there mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So whatever it takes for you to do that, you need to do that. You need to start a new practice if you have not done that. Put that in a journal, write it down in a book, put it in your planner. Why don't you put it on your calendar? You can use something like Google Calendar, where it can be on all of your technical devices, okay? So that way you can access that calendar, or you can even set notifications. Take a self-care break wherever you are. I'm telling you, I just thought about that while I was going over these different strategies that you can do to create self-care in the workplace. Is give yourself notifications, because we get busy and we forget. Some of us forget to take a break. And I know some of you can identify with that. Another strategy is make a quiet time. And that can correlate with taking a break, but find a quiet time, in between even the task that you're doing. Take a moment, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, purposefully take a quiet moment. I'm going to get into spiritual self-care as well, because that's my next point. I want to wrap up my little talk on workplace and professional self-care. And from my notes, because I do not want to forget the things I really wanted to touch on. Oh, yes, this is one too. And some of us practice it, but we need to be more intentional. And that is taking time out to talk with people who you enjoy being around. That can be your coworkers. So we're talking about the workplace environment, coworkers, or if you don't have that, because sometimes the coworkers are not the people we want to talk to, or we may not have a type of workplace where everybody's team oriented and everybody gets along well, and everybody's personality blends. That's not realistic all the time for some people. So why don't you call somebody, a loved one, a friend, whether it's a spouse, whether it's one of your children, cousin, aunties, parents, whoever that person is for you, just to kind of, like I said, give you some sorts of inspiration and motivation just during that time. What you're really doing as well is taking a break from whatever you're doing at the moment and kind of forgetting about where you are. Even though you're in the workplace, you're forgetting about being in the workplace, and talk about something that is unrelated to your work. Because you can do that all day within your business, within your job, whatever you do. Even if you're full-time missionary, or you need a break. No matter what you do, you need a break. Even if you're doing serving in ministry, you definitely need a break, because it can be very taxing mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. So find someone who, when you talk to, they kind of invigorate you, give you energy. You kind of feed off of each other's energy. Find that person. If you don't have it, find that person. Telling you, because it really helps. It really helps to break up things. And my last point is on here. Let me see. I think I did pretty much cover everything. Absolutely, I did. So I'm good. I'm good on that. So I want to talk about spiritual self-care. And you can make this an assessment. You can grade yourself from numbers 1 through 3, maybe 1 being you're not very good at doing this, practicing this. 2 can be you do it sometimes, you can do better, and 3 can be something that you practice all of the time. So you can actually write down some of these interventions that I mentioned on a piece of paper, put a checkbox next to it, or a line, and you can put 1, 2, 3, or 4, and make little notes for yourself that I need to improve in this area. And that's really what I do with my clients. Do like a self-care assessment in different areas. We talk about relationship self-care, workplace self-care, spiritual self-care, emotional self-care. I might be leaving out something else, but and then do an assessment. And then what I do is, after like 2, 3, or 4 months, we revisit the self-care assessment to see the areas that my client has improved in, or improving in, or have not improved in at all. And so they just need to go back and implement that again. And then we will meet again and see where they are. So that's all part of even, the coaching that I do is having those progress moments where I need to see where you are, what are you doing, where are you in your goal, are you meeting your objectives towards your goal, how are we feeling? Are we feeling stuck? Do we need support? All of that. Being able to identify where you are is very important. That is self-care as well. You're doing a check-in on yourself. Okay, so spiritual self-care. Number 1, pray. Always helpful. When I say pray, I don't mean focusing on asking for things. That's part of it. But what I'm talking about is praying. Okay, one thing can be praying about something. Maybe something is bothering you. Maybe something is troubling you, or you need some answers to. You're not sure about things. Maybe you feel like you need clarity from God. So you need to pray. Maybe you need to go before Him and pray and present the issue to God, and listen and meditate during prayer for maybe answers, some wisdom, some revelation that comes. Because again, in quiet time and when you pray, a lot of times God will give you the answer in the midst of it or right after, or sometimes you just have to wait on it. But what you're doing is presenting them to God and asking Him to help you, to intervene, to help you come up with solutions or answers to your prayer, your questions, your requests. So prayer is number one when it comes to spiritual self-care. God may point out something. You may be praying for one thing and He may point out something else that you need to work on first. And then the other thing will happen and come into fruition because you did A. When you do A, B will happen. And then C will happen. So don't forget to pray. I already mentioned meditate. So that's good for any environment, any place you are. It is good to take out time to just be quiet, be still. If meditation is listening to music, inspirational music. Another thing is maybe read inspirational books. Maybe you need to review or reread some books that you have read in the past. Or maybe you have recorded messages, maybe some good preaching or some, like I said, inspirational, motivational messages from people that you need to go and listen to again. Books, things online. There's a lot of stuff online, and you can just do that as well. And I do that myself. I'm trying to think of a person that I like to listen to a lot, and I just keep my mind is blank right now. But there's people that I like to listen to that every time I hear their voice, they make me feel like, wow, I can go further. I feel more energetic now. I'm remembering, what the things that I want to accomplish, and they give me a sense of fire and all of that. So, look for that, wherever that source of inspiration is. Maybe you need to hear it again. Oh, that's what I was thinking about. Audible books are very good because sometimes you may not feel like read. And I love books. I love pages. I still love hardcover books, workbooks, regular books, whatever. I like to turn the pages. I like to read. I like to have it in my hand. I like to take it with me wherever I go. But I know a lot of people who love the audiobooks, and that is great too because it's easy. You can be driving in your car doing something. I'm working on a task. So here's where multitasking can come in, where it also gives you a source of energy and inspiration even in the workplace, because you're listening to something that kind of takes your mind off of the maybe stress of what you're doing. At the same time, you're completing something, you're getting things done. And so I think that's something you can do is listen to audiobooks, listen to that music, like I said. Try something different. I always say try something different. Spiritual. Oh, okay. So not getting caught up in material things. Let's call it that. Not getting caught up in material things. Things that perish. Things that don't really add to your life spiritually and emotionally and mentally. They don't. They serve a purpose. Now there's material things serve a purpose, but don't let that be all in all. Don't put that or value that material things more than your spiritual care. And that's what I'm getting to. Your spiritual care is more important than material things. Those things perish. You need to be at a place that maybe if you lose something that's material, say furniture, clothes, a car, even a house. Yes, you will be maybe sad, disappointed, hurt, whatever. But if you take care of the spiritual part of you, that spiritual part of you is empowered enough that you're going to get through it, and that you can reestablish and you can get material things again in the future. But that should not become the most important thing in your life. You are more important than anything. As far as material things, yes, God, family, and everything else. But I mean, as a human being, don't value things more than you value yourself. So that's another part of being intentional about your spiritual self-care. Reflection is good. Sometimes we need to reflect on, especially if you're going through maybe a little hard time right now, or you're a little down. I don't mean like clinically depressed, but you're a little down, a little sad, or you're a little weary. Maybe you feel weary, and you need to think about things to build your hope again. Bring back your hope, gain a sense of optimism in your life where you start to feel positive about things that, yes, right now I'm at this particular place or I can't get this thing done, but you start to reflect on past achievements and that can bring you back a sense of joy and peace. You can think about when you went through that situation and how hard it was back then and realize, what, just like I got through that time, I can get through this time as well, and things won't seem as mountainous as it did before you started doing self-reflection, so think about that. Another way to take care of your spiritual care is make sure you connect to people who are positive, people who don't always remind you of what's not working in your life, people who maybe every time you talk with them, they're thinking about areas in their life that is not working for them. And I'm not talking, of course, it's good to have friends and people you talk to where you kind of share stories and you encourage each other. But I'm talking about those people who every time you're in their presence, it's always about what's not working in their life or what's not working in your life. So they're constantly pointing out all of those things that you don't need to focus on right now because you already know that already. You don't need to have that repeated over and over again, because sometimes we do that in our own minds, right? In our minds, we're repeating, oh, I need to do this not working, how I'm going. You're taking a break from all of that stuff. So find the people, the community, whether that's your church or group, support group, a certain circle of friends you hang out with. Maybe you engage in a particular activity, sports or recreational activity, and you have those group of people who help you to feel good and or forget about whatever it is that you're kind of going through at the moment, or maybe not going through anything. This is just spiritual self-care. So this is just to make sure you are paying attention to what's going on inside of you. So spiritual care and emotional care really tie together a lot because one affects the other. Your mood will affect your spirit and your spirit will affect your mood. And that can go into the workplace environment. So everything works together hand in hand. Spiritual care, I think I'm coming down to yes. I'm reminded of, and I talk about this a lot. I talk a lot about altruistic activity, doing something for other people, engaging in a cause. And that can be a cause where you passionate about something, you militant about something, you out there marching, or you're supporting another leader who's for a cause, and you're becoming part of that team, or you yourself have started a mission and a cause, and so you become entangled in that in a positive way, and that is paying attention to your spiritual care, things that you really care about deep within inside your spirit, and engaging some kind of level of engagement in that area brings you a sense of gratitude and satisfaction and joy and happiness because you have a sense of purpose and sense of meaning. So there's meaningful activities that you're engaging in. And again, what happens, it feeds your spirit. You're feeding your spirit, you're feeding your mind, you're feeding your passion, things that you really care about, and those things that care about you actually, because it's reciprocated. You get something out of it. So I think I am almost done, and I think I had one more, and I did cover that. I sure did. Yep. I am actually done. So I hope this was so helpful to somebody who needs to be reminded to care for yourself, care for your spirit, care for setting boundaries. Very important no matter where you are. Again, learning to put yourself first. Some of you don't put yourself first. You put other people first. So this really will help the person who is always pouring out or giving out, or even a caretaker or something, and you forgot to put yourself in the equation. So I need you to do that. I need you to practice more self-care in your life, and I want you to be intentional when you're going to work tomorrow, or when you start working in your business tomorrow, whatever it is, mission, ministry, whatever. I want you to be conscious and mindful. So practice some mindfulness where you're being thoughtful about you. And when you go in, you're going in with an approach of, I'm going to make sure I take care of myself today. Whatever I have to do, I'm going to make sure that I matter. And you need to know that you matter, and you are valuable to yourself before you're valuable to anybody else. That's it. I'm done. Thank you so much for tuning in to Cheryl Howard's Get Your Life Back podcast. Don't forget to what is it? Hit that bell. I want you to click the bell. I want you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, but also subscribe to my podcast. I am on SoundCloud as Cheryl Howard Get Your Life Back. And I'm also on Apple Podcasts. So if you have iTunes, Apple Podcasts, I need you to, if you don't have an account, get an account and follow me over there, because my podcast is over there as well. And so you can get notifications when I upload a new episode. And I have some wonderful, wonderful episodes coming up with some people that I'm going to be sharing my podcast with. I have some awesome guests from all kinds of aspects of their lives, different stories, bringing you tools and strategies, education, information on so many different areas. And I am going to probably do something with doing an introduction of what I'm going to be talking about next in a couple of months. I may find a particular theme to focus on weekly or monthly, we'll see. But thanks again. I appreciate your time with me, and I hope that I poured into you some kind of way. Thank you. Bye-bye.